Hey guys,
Yes, sir.
have you ever made a whoopsie
Apparently.
or a doopsie
Apparently.
That turned into
Or
a
a
poopsie.
gaff.
or a gaff?
A gaff
What are you talking about, Tony?
caused a kerfuffle.
I don't want to bring it up. We already got docked stars for it, apparently.
Oh, well, that's a workplace whoopsie, I guess.
Yeah. An oopsie that turns into a poopsie.
Definitely made some
I've
whoopsies.
definitely had those. At my last job, I worked on rail cars. I would unload ethanol from the rail car to trucks, and it required ducking under the rail cars. And there was one day my stomach was upset,
Oh, you had an actual.
and I ducked under, and it wasn't alone.
I was just
Really? Your oopsie turned into a poopsie?
set out a scout, huh?
Oopsie came from your oopsie.
Son of a gun. And then the bathrooms were at least 150 yards away, and I ran like I had a stick up my butt.
The duck parts.
It's upsetting. It was very upsetting.
Oh, man. Oh, well, hey, welcome back to Five's a Crowd. We're going to bring it in on that note, that wet note.
Oh, gosh. Gross.
I'll be your host for this evening. My name's Austin. I'm surrounded by my four best friends, Cam, Chris, Tony, and Zach.
Hello.
And if you're new here, if we make you laugh, please make sure to hit that subscribe. And if you love us at the end of this, make sure you give us some good ratings, some good old ratings, thumbsing up this video.
5 stars.
5 stars, whatever it is, you know what to do. We don't need to go into details. But I did want to at least do this tonight because I don't think we've ever really done it, but I wanted to shout out all of our paying members.
Ooh.
Just because you guys are literally our backbone here on the channel. Some of you have been here since literally day one, and we just can't thank you enough. So I felt
You
like
have done it once before.
yeah,
So
I have done it once before, but I thought, it's always fun
It's
to kind
been a
of
minute.
yeah. So I'll just start from the tippy top. We got Kristen Pierce, Michelle Hopkins, Michele. I'm just going to say Michele. It's probably Michelle. But it just sounds much more fun.
It's a unique way of spelling it.
Shauna, Isn't She Strange? The Chubby Cheek Girl, Kevin Needham, Shailene Leverett, Mel Bergeron, Patricia Deborah Orris, Amanda Tucker, Heather Britton, Karen Gay, Esther Hall, Lindsay Taylor, Caroline
Wow.
Mitchell, Dorothy Riley, Big Man 9792, Sasha, Maxine Howlett, Bad Grandma, and Cecily Christensen.
Wow.
You
Thank
guys
you.
seriously are our backbones here.
Beautiful.
Literally, I could show you guys our monetization screen. It's sad. Literally, probably about 30 or more % of our videos are demonetized on the average because we like to talk and discuss things how we like.
We like to be real and raw.
Yeah, real and raw, baby.
Don't.
Real raw.
My brain was instantly like, "Aw." As soon as you said "don't,"
Is that like,
man.
is that your wife? Don't.
yeah, don't.
Aw.
That was perfectly timed. Okay. Anyway, tonight I wanted to talk about kind of like an open discussion about the biggest oopsies we could find in history. And what brought up this idea was the transportation ship coming over that sank. What was it called? I can't remember. It's
Let me see if I can find the name.
it was, oh my gosh, I had it up. 1 second. Dang it. Dang it. Pause.
I don't know if I ever saw the Felicity Ace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right?
The
Felicity
Felicity Ace,
Ace.
the cargo ship carrying cars and SUVs from brands including Audi, Porsche, Bentley, and Lamborghini. Caught on fire on February 16th.
Jeez.
The crew then abandoned ship. Later, after they were safe, they came back with like fire crews and tried to put out the fire and reboard the ship, but that ship has now sunk.
Yeah,
the
13
bottom of the
days.
ocean.
13 days post fire is when it sunk. And I mean, I don't want to
Thousands.
dive into conspiracy, but it just so happens that the parent company of all these cars, Volkswagen.
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 Volkswagen. Come on. There's something there.
And it's all covered by their insurance.
Yeah. They
I
gotta make
mean, I'm getting some real,
You know, Olympic vibes.
the Olympic vibes.
what?
Interesting.
History repeating itself.
Remember
Yeah.
how the Olympics sank, not the Titanic?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
It
Titanic
was the
still exists.
Dolphins.
the lasers.
J.P. Morgan.
I think
Freaking JP
They're making
Morgan's
up
got
for
a
that.
hand in this.
I think
the
those
EPA
Germans,
lawsuit. They're making up for that EPA lawsuit when they were falsifying the emissions on the diesel cars.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
That was a big lawsuit.
Yeah.
over 4,000 vehicles.
Now, isn't that crazy that, I mean, I don't know. I think it's crazy that Lamborghini is owned by Volkswagen. So if you're
Right.
driving a Lambo,
Yeah.
it's just a
Glorified.
You're just
bullshit.
glorified
Just a
Jetta.
nice Jetta.
That's why I'll take a Ferrari.
It's a fancy Jetta.
I don't know what a Ferrari is as far as the hub of
Maserati
that,
and
but
Ferrari.
I don't know. If
Ferrari.
is
no
it just
Ferraris
Fiat?
were on that ship though.
Fiat.
Boom.
It's Fiat.
Is
So
it
listen
Fiat?
I
to
don't know. I
stuff.
made that up. Completely made
I
up.
think it
Could
is
be.
another. I think it does have a parent company, but
I'm sure it
Look
does.
it up.
among the Lamborghinis that were on the ship were some Aventador models.
A lot of
which
them, which were customized.
Are V12 powered Aventadors, and they only make about less than 800 a year.
Yeah.
They're all priced over 400,000. And yeah, some of them were like super, like souped up and really nice. Overall, it's estimated to be about $335 million in damages.
How much?
335 million.
That's with an M.
And then illion.
All right, Donald Trump.
Not thousands.
A million.
Fiat owns
$1
Ferrari.
million.
Fiat owns 80% of Ferrari.
Really?
Okay.
That's crazy.
Chrysler, which is
But Fiat
Chrysler.
is also an Italian company.
Yeah, but Chrysler, Fiat now.
Freaking Chrysler.
Isn't it Daimler, Chrysler, Fiat?
It's
now?
Chrysler.
Mer
Fiat.
Chrysler.
I think Daimler died. It's just it's
Yeah, what
Chrysler.
the heck
Fiat.
even was Daimler?
It was the last name, right? Daimler and Chrysler.
Crazy.
I don't know.
Chrysler. Wasn't that like one of those like sale lots though? Like Dim Dally Mazda kind of thing.
Daimler Chrysler. It was Daimler Chrysler was the full name of.
Okay. I was just wondering. Young
That's
Chevrolet.
Quit name dropping. They're not paying us.
Yeah, they're not paying us.
They got big houses.
Yet.
That could pay us.
Well, they're not gonna have to now.
Legit though, I would
It's sad.
I would guess there's some conspiracy surrounding that.
I agree.
Many taking leaves of notes from
'Cause
J.P. Morgan.
Here's the thing too, like you go on a cruise, they tell you the worst thing that could happen on that cruise is that there's a fire.
Yeah,
But also look at how many ships go back and forth all the time and never have a fire.
most
So,
of them.
Were they covering something up? I
what-
mean, they're probably not going to look into it. Was it a malfunction in one of the cars that possibly caused a fire? Now all evidence is gone.
Yep.
We tried.
Like when the Titanic hit the iceberg.
You mean the Olympic?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
All I want to know.
Facts matter.
Sorry, all facts matter. Okay. I just want to know how a boat sinks when it's surrounded by water from a fire.
That's why, because of the water.
But I mean, like,
The water gets in the boat and it
well, yeah,
sinks.
but
I
like
mean,
you're surrounded, like
No,
your boat's
you mean,
on fire,
how
but you're
does a
surrounded by
boat?
water.
Yeah, how does a
It
boat stay on
compromises
fire
the-
surrounded by water?
Yeah, like you should have
Structure.
some onboard cannons that like
they-
literally just pull water.
Well, they do to
What?
like shoot at pirates, but I guess they just don't turn inside.
they only shoot outwards.
Yeah,
Salt water doesn't put out fire though.
What was on that
Sure
that caught on
does.
fire
What?
though? Too.
it seasons it.
Didn't want
Cars
to
are
get
tasty.
Didn't want to get salt on my Lambo. Okay.
Let the fire take it. I don't want to get it salty.
Oh my lord. Anyway,
Chris, you were gonna say something?
I wonder what would stay on fire that long.
All the interiors.
Probably.
There's 4,000 of them.
Yeah, but yeah,
Batteries.
makes you wonder where it
And that's a
started.
lot
It's all
of
smoldering.
it's all
They all
metal.
have to have fuel in them too. To I mean,
the leather,
Yeah,
some,
but they can. Yeah,
enough to ignite something.
the tires.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tires
The
burn for a long
Tires
time.
burn for a long
Rubber
time.
burns like crazy.
Yeah.
I remember a guy in Argentina. I went into their house to proselyte and stuff, and he was putting a tire in the fireplace because it was cold. And they straight up lit this tire on fire.
It burned forever.
And the flume fell shut. And the room almost instantly just black smoke. And we like ran out, and it like we had like soot all over us almost instantly. It was insane, dude. The house was made of like cinder block though, so it was fine. But it was not that like seeing the flames around the tire was just wild.
Really?
Yeah, dude, they
That's
burned
crazy.
like hardcore.
Well, I've heard that once tires start burning, you can't really put them out.
You smother them. You can smother it, and that's it. Take the oxygen away.
Just don't use this salt water.
Gotcha. You don't want to season a tire. That's wasted seasoning.
That's what they mean by seasonal.
Wow.
Is this all season tire or is this
All season.
But
if that's not a dad joke, I don't know what
That's
is.
great.
It's like the everything bagel. This is all season.
that was a horrible dad joke.
That was great. That was fantastic.
It was witty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, says the CEO of Volkswagen. Yeah.
So on that note, though, do any of you guys have any at job failures?
Personally,
Like
I got one.
personal at job fails. Let's hear it.
I got a good one.
I got one.
I've
Go
got a
for
good
it,
one,
Zach.
too.
Me too.
So, when we start our morning out, we're supposed to do a walk around of our truck. You know, check cases and everything and count our product and make sure everything's there. I decided I was fine. We got our brand new Red Bull in summer edition. This was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was my, anyways. Pulling out onto 12th Street, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something falling, and I'm like, what the heck was that?
Oh no!
And I start paying it closer attention. Yeah, don't worry. It was 30 cases of our brand spanking new Red Bull all over the road.
No way.
I didn't check my truck, and the guy who loaded my truck at night didn't close my bays. And I didn't check that side. It was on the passenger side, and I didn't check it. I drove off, and I left my bay open and took a turn, and it all just...
You took a left turn and
Here's the
out
best
they
part.
spilled.
So I hurry and pull over. I call my boss. I'm like, hey, man, I'm at the corner, and I got Red Bull everywhere. And he was like, oh, all right, man. Like, it's not the first time it's happened. So they're like, oh, I'll hurry and run out there. He's like, just in the meantime, just try to do what you can to try to get it off the road. So I'm trying to get it off the road. There's cars coming. This one guy in his truck pulls up and notices all this Red Bull everywhere. I'm trying to clean it up. He stops and he can't really get over, and he just looks at me and shrugs his shoulders and lifts up his arms and goes, got him out, sorry, and just drove right through it all. And you just hear can just after can, pop, 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 pop.
I thought you were gonna say he jumped out and started
Started
grabbing.
If he would have done that, it would have been great. But then finally a cop pulled up and blocked off the road, and we were able to scoot everything to the side. And
You get cited.
no,
Oh, wow.
no.
Wow. Lucky break on that.
Yeah, it ended up being about 20, 30 cases worth that we had to pick up and take back to the warehouse. And the only thing we could
Repackaged.
No, it wasn't even, nothing was even
Silver discount.
repackageable. It was basically have at it, take what you guys want. And
I
the
thought
rest
those
is going
cans
to
you
the
brought
dumpster.
the one night were awfully dented. Just kidding.
I thought it was part of the damaged design.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That
Tony,
Nice.
you said you have one?
Yeah, so again at the job I had the poopsie.
Oopsie turned into a poopsie.
Not being a CDL driver, so these are decent sized trucks that haul the fuel from the refiner. Well, they hauled it from where we were at down to the refineries, but they would have. Gosh, I wish I knew the footage of these trucks, but they had their main trailer, which was a big long tanker trailer, and then they had what we called the pup, which held another probably 10,000 gallons or so, and we would keep them parked in our lot off to the side for the night drivers. And occasionally my boss would say, hey, loop that truck around, get it filled, ready to go for the night driver so he can just come in and get started. Well, the drivers used to park their personal cars kind of in the same area. And so this one truck that was sitting there empty that he asked me to loop around had one of the driver's personal cars sitting in front of it. And I knew to pull out and around the truck. Well, again, being inexperienced driving this long of a truck, I didn't take into consideration the pub on the back. And so I loop out and around, but not wide enough. Don't fill a thing. I'd loop it around the parking lot, come pulling up to my bay to fill it. And I happen to glance out across the parking lot and notice that this driver's personal vehicle, his entire trunk and everything is like ripped off. Oh, I'm just like, I look, my stomach sinks. I'm just like,
no.
oh gosh.
You don't have your CDL.
No.
So why do they let you drive this thing anyway?
Yeah, because
couldn't be
I
mad
was
at you.
on property.
Yeah, technically you're on private property, so
So
you can get away with it.
So I take this very like somber walk to the offices where my boss is at, and I walk in and I'm like, so I just hit Tom's car. And he's like, no, you didn't. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. And you could just see the blood leave his face.
What kind of car are we talking?
Oh, it wasn't anything fancy.
Okay.
Did
It
you
was
total
like,
it?
huh?
Did you total it?
Well,
The trunk's in the seat. Front
so let me
seat.
back up a little bit. This guy's car that I hit, he was a douchebag. Like
No, so
nobody.
he deserved it. Okay.
So it's called karma. It's not your
Yeah.
fault.
Right.
You're
The
fine.
universe used you.
Yeah. Car.
You were just a vessel.
Yeah.
You were just a vessel.
You're good.
You're the delivery system.
So the funny thing is so this guy, he was a day driver, and he was in earlier that day talking crap. Like I was loading his truck and he's talking crap about my father-in-law, who also worked for the company at the time. He was a truck driver as well. And he knew that we were related. Like he knew he was my father-in-law. Still, he didn't hold back. He was talking crap on him.
So you accidentally hit his car.
Well, I can't prove it.
Allegedly.
I'm not
Allegedly
saying-
around here.
I'm not saying, just saying.
Just say it.
No, so yeah, so this guy though, being the douche that he is, well, hang on, I'm getting kind of jumbled here. So I hit his car, my boss walks out, sees the damage, and then he goes over and he looks at the truck, and the truck damage is just barely a slight like bent fender and some scratched paint, which still ends up being pretty costly on these type of trucks. I mean, they're pricey trucks. They're probably $500,000 trucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my boss, being the guy that he was, he took the fall. He's like, you're not in trouble. I told you to pull the truck around. I probably should have been out there guiding you or just pulled it around myself. He's like, so I'll take full blame. And so he talked to the big wig and everything. So here's where it gets real douchey from this guy. The company owner told my boss that he had to pay for the guy's truck out of pocket, that the company wasn't going to cover it. So he got insurance involved, everything like that. They ended up cutting this guy a check to fix his car for like, I don't know, we'll say like $5,000, give or take, between 5 and 10, we'll say, just to give it a fair round number. And he takes the check, goes to the local junkyard to buy parts, replaces it himself for maybe $300, and then cashes the rest of the check.
You
That's
knew that
called
was
sweat
his whole
equity.
con.
That's sweat equity.
Yeah.
But
I was able to fix it just changing out parts.
yeah, he just kind of replaced it. Like it didn't end up totaling the vehicle. It wasn't that as bad as, like, it looked bad, but it wasn't as bad as it looked.
More
Like it didn't.
cosmetic.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's a big oopsie that sticks with me for a while.
Big oopsie turned into a poopsie. Mine isn't near that great. Man, I wish I'd have went like before you.
Yep.
I was like, yep, I'm in that same boat.
I took out a car.
Mine, it was my very first day on the job. I'm not even kidding on that front. But so at my last job, I was hired as kind of like in this guinea pig position because it was a relatively new company. And so they were like building positions as like they saw need, right? Mm-hmm. So I was in this brand new position where I was basically the IT guy for all these administrators for large universities. And so I had a direct phone line that they could call me in. And so I'm there and I'm figuring all this stuff out. And maybe, actually, now that I think about it, it may not have been my actual very first day, but it was probably my second or third day. Anyway, I take a call. It was my very first call. I remember that. And all of a sudden, as I'm on the phone with this client, this guy comes over and he's got this really loud, really boisterous voice. And he's on the phone looking out the window right next to me. And he's just talking super loud. And I can't hear this guy, this admin that I'm talking to on the phone. And so I'm like, can you hold me just for 1 second? I turn and I'm like, hey, shut up, dude. I'm on the phone. and he turns and he's like, oh, okay. and he just like, he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. And he just like walks off. And all of a sudden my manager comes over. He's like, do you have any idea who that was? I'm like, no. He's like, that's the owner of this company. He's like, never tell him to shut up ever again. You may not be here. I was like, well, he understood. I was on the phone.
I was like, dude, I'm making you money right now. Like, stop talking.
So anyway, after that, I was like, oh, I will never forget your face again, Mr. Coates. Anyway, that's my story. That was my oopsie.
That's a good one.
That's awesome.
Screaming at the owner. I think that's pretty good.
That is a good one. Shut up. He probably respected that, you know?
Yeah.
Game respects game. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
You
I would
guys
have promoted you.
I'm trying to think. Like, I can't.
I got one.
It's like that. I sent you guys that TED one.
No
or
one's
whatever.
ever talked to me that way.
You're hired. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Chris?
I was working on a brand new Super Duty truck. It was, whatever it was. Before all this craziness, it was like a $68,000 truck, whatever.
Oh yeah, probably
Platinum.
$120,000 truck now.
I was taking a dent out of the front fender of it, and guy was coming in. He's like, I gotta show this truck, and he kept pushing me, and I was like, okay, I'm almost done, just pushing out this dent. And I'm getting to the point where I'm writing it up by my car, and this is when I first started. He's like, is it good to go? And I was like, yeah, it's good to go, but I forgot I hadn't cleaned up any of my stuff. So I have a tool that comes down and it hooks like this.
Oh, no.
It was laying in front of the truck. He runs it over. All of a sudden, you hear, it tore the whole fender liner out, smashed the fender, crinkled the fender, and put a big hole in the tire. As they were going to show this guy the truck, and I had to sit and explain that I'm sorry that they couldn't sell this truck because I left my tool in front of the fender.
Dang.
How does he not see it?
How did I not grab it though?
But how did he not see it?
I don't know.
It's
he just
in a
got
truck,
in it.
and it's a tiny tool sitting in
Well,
front of
it was a 90 tool, so it's.
But still, you're in a
with
truck
yeah.
up high. You probably
Yeah.
can't see.
Well, as he's getting in, you'd think he would have seen it too, but
Yeah.
he ran it over. It's,
Should have just told him it was a custom rolled fender, man.
yeah.
High
It
price.
was effed up. Yeah, it was bad.
Goodness.
Because, the tool stuck in the tire rolling around and it tore the whole fender liner out. And
It always cracks me up too when people don't stop at the first sound of.
I know, dude. He took off.
It's like, what did he do? Slam on the
you're
gas?
in a parking lot, man.
Yeah, seriously.
My tool made it. It was good. And then I got told, because it was when I wasn't self-employed, it was when I was working for somebody, that I was responsible to pay for that damage. And I was like, no. Because I was getting paid a percentage. Companies should take. It was a company thing that had happened.
Yeah.
So I had to fight him over that.
Jeez.
He wanted me to
Company
pay for it.
should have some responsibility for their
Yeah.
employees.
Yes, it was my bad, but working for a company, you're taking on responsibility when I'm not.
That's kind of like that trucking company that I worked for. If a driver got into an accident, which it happened, they had these like safety bonuses that they would get. I don't know. We'll say every 6 months. I don't know how often they got them. Maybe quarterly. But if they got into an accident, they wouldn't get a safety bonus for however long it took to pay for the damages.
Okay.
But the thing is these drivers, as sad as it is to say, are a dime a dozen, you know, so they would just jump ship. They're like, if I'm not getting a bonus, I'm out. And so they'd quit and go and work for the next company.
Jeez.
And so then the company stuck picking up the bill.
Yeah.
So then they ended up rewriting that. So it was like, there was like a cap. So it's like, okay, you won't get a safety bonus now for X amount of time. So if the damage is like $10,000, it's like, okay, you won't get your bill until $2,000 of it is paid, and then we'll cap you off and we'll cover the rest.
Gotcha.
And then that was keeping their drivers on, because what they were finding was that now they're getting all these amateur drivers in, and they can't keep the good drivers because these drivers want their bonuses. And
So if
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that was my first time ever doing something like that.
Right.
But he had an insurance policy like that covers
Oh, yeah.
for stuff like that.
right.
So I mean it's
Well, and that's exactly the same with this company.
Yeah.
It's like, you got insurance to cover what this driver just did. You're just now punishing the driver by taking his bonus away. Like, I get that the driver's still kind of at fault, because a lot of the biggest mistakes that would happen a lot, at least in this line of work, was they would mix fuel.
Yeah.
They would put like diesel fuel into the unleaded, and now all of it's ruined. And they would have to pump out the tank and
Clean it,
bring
probably.
clean it, bring in
Nowadays.
more. So that it gets kind of pricey. That was the common error.
Yeah.
And so it was rare that it was actual damage to like the trucks or things like that.
Now that'd be like $1 million. Yeah.
Could you imagine? Now you know why they in Fast and Furious they went through all that trouble to get that fuel.
And that was back when it was only $4 or $2.
Yeah, for real.
Was it $2 a gallon?
I think when that movie
Racing
came out,
fuel.
it was something
Oh
like
my
that.
That was
Gosh,
racing fuel though. It was
man.
Yeah,
3.
racing fuel was pricey.
Now, were you able to fix it paintless,
No.
dent repair?
No.
He used that tool to fix it.
That tool fixed it
Irony.
and destroyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did both.
Yeah.
Cam?
I've got
I
another
can't
one.
even. I'm trying to think of something.
Did you break an iPhone?
He's like, I work in
iPad.
I've
Apple.
never broken an iPhone or an iPad.
iWatch?
Eyeball.
Almost, actually. I mean, mine. I feel like mine have all. None of them have been huge. I'm trying to think.
Someone buys a new laptop and you come walking out to give it to them and you trip and throw it all over the floor.
Well, you're just perfect.
No, I must be, or I just block things out really well.
Yeah. My
I mean,
whole
I remember,
childhood.
like-
just kidding.
I'm trying to. I can only think of like little things.
Have you ever worked at a job where you could make a big mistake?
I did work for this lawn care company,
What, you cut
like
too
spraying
short?
fertilizer and stuff. And I'm trying to think. The only
He
thing
cut off this girl's toe, but she ended up being his wife.
Yeah, I did actually. I don't know. Okay, this has no relation whatsoever, but it reminded me of this thing. I one time was spraying someone's. We sprayed fertilizer.
Oh, no.
I was spraying someone's backyard with fertilizer, and you just kind of walk in a line, a sweeping motion, whatever. And I found in the backyard, laying in the grass, broad daylight, this massive dildo.
A daldo.
The most random. I forgot that you guys unlocked this memory somehow.
It was
I'm
a,
seriously just going back. It was like marble, like colored purple and white.
it was the dog's chew
Magenta.
toy.
It was big.
It was the dog's chew toy.
Dude, I don't-
Double-sided.
It was huge, and I like stopped and looked at it, and I like kind of looked around. I'm like, because I'm pretty sure the person who opened the door was like a 7-year-old dude.
7?
D,
Oh, 7D.
like an old dude, and I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here.
I bet, honestly, I bet he's probably neighbors with like a party house, and they threw it
They
into
just
his
hucked it back
backyard.
there. It was
Either
so
that or
weird.
he placed it there just to mess with your mind.
It worked. It worked. Then there was another time, like, because we had company trucks too. I went and filled it up, like the gas and stuff.
Oh, no.
But I didn't put the cap back on. I just put it on the rail. And I drove away, and I went through a bunch of corners. And every time I took a right
Spitting
turn,
gas
just
out.
shooting gas, and you could see all these lines on the ground, and it like burned into the asphalt. So it was there for a long time, and I would be reminded every time. And somehow the gas cap stayed. It stayed on the rail the whole way, and I was like,
Jeez.
ooh, okay.
How'd that happen?
That's weird.
Have you ever pulled the gas pump away from the car?
I
With the car?
one time,
No.
this was at
I've always been paranoid of
this
that.
was my own car. I was at this crappy Tesoro out in Murray. Just got like the place at night. You thought you were going to be murdered for sure. And I put the thing in. I turn it on, and I'm just standing there, and I'm watching it because I'm like, okay, it's about to be done. It gets to the point where it should shut itself off, and it got stuck.
Oh.
So now gas all of a sudden just shoots out. Like, here's the thing in my car, and it's just like shooting out. And so I grab it and I pull the thing, and it keeps shooting. It's on the side of my car. It gets on my shoes, and I'm like beating this pump as I'm spending like $5, $6, $7 more. And I'm like, I'm like screaming, and I finally get it to turn off. I was so pissed.
Oh my gosh.
Never had that happen.
You didn't hit that emergency shut-off button, huh?
I don't think they had one, dude. This place was ghetto. It was so bad.
That's when you just leave it on the ground to drive away.
I didn't think about it with the gas
then your
spurting out.
car
But
just gets charged like crazy.
spent, yeah. That's when you blow it up. You drive away far enough to throw a match.
So speaking of spills, again, this company is the one that I have all the oopsies. But
You never actually put $1 million in somebody else's account?
no.
Oh.
Except my own.
Oh.
I wish. No,
Could you?
Asking for a friend. Could you loan us?
You just add zeros?
no,
Yeah,
so
could you just go to our accountants and just add zeros?
right.
10 of them?
Then I'd have $1. Just kidding.
So the machines that we use to pump the gas or the ethanol from the trains to the trucks, it had like an extra pump to it, and so the main machine that you punch in how many gallons you want and everything and hit go, you hear that like kick up, and as soon as it hits the high gear and starts going, then you can hit the secondary pump to kick it into an even higher gear to get it really flowing. Well, when it starts getting down to like 50 gallons, 20 gallons, the main machine will kick into a low gear. And at that point, you have to have that backup pump kicked off. Otherwise, you can burst the hoses. Well, there'd be times when like I'd have to go to we had like a little shack where we had the computer and stuff to put in all the numbers and everything. And like I would punch in like 5,000 gallons and start pumping, and then I'd go to the shack because I knew I had probably a good 5 minutes for it to load. And occasionally the main machine would lose power, but the secondary pump wouldn't. Uh-oh. And so I'd be in there like kind of doing my thing, assuming that it's pumping. I come out and there's like a good couple hundred gallons of this ethanol. Luckily, we have like this spill containment. They made like a concrete wall specifically. Like they have these big, huge tanks to store. Like they had racing fuel, aviation fuel, all kinds of stuff in these tanks. And by like OSHA regulation, is you have to make a containment pit big enough that if one of those tanks burst, it has enough to contain it. Well, I would like fill it up by, I mean, a good couple inches sometimes.
Oh no.
And I would just be like, oh, son of a gun. But luckily ethanol on a hot day evaporates real fast. It's like, it's pure alcohol basically.
Stay inside. Stay inside.
I'm just like, oh, for the love, please. Just,
Your blood.
So meanwhile, he's getting high.
Do you have to report it?
probably.
You never did.
He's like, maybe, but I ain't gonna do it.
Why are we short a couple hundred gallons?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Ethanol was a hole open.
So like the pipe, when you say the pipe would burst, like it wouldn't break?
The hose.
The hose.
The hose, okay.
So we would have, we had like these good thick hoses that were like wire lined and stuff, but the
Coupler?
is that what it's called? So the end that actually connects, that's where it would pop loose.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was bad.
That's awesome.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Or there was times that like the hose would come loose from the bottom of the train and it's just pouring out of the bottom of the train.
You sound like a hazard, dude.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing is, I'm trying, because I used to work at like a rental place where we rented out like big construction equipment. And like I'd make little mistakes, but I think I was just so paranoid and meticulous because I didn't want to make a mistake that I wouldn't make the big ones.
Tony was just too tired.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I had to be at this job by 2:30 a.m. hooked up, ready to go because the first truck driver's showing up at 3 a.m. And so I had to show up. Like I was running on 3.5 hours of sleep. Like think of Zach on podcast nights, but every night.
Gross.
I remember that. Like you
Oh, it was
being
rough.
extremely tired, man.
Yeah.
Well, this whole podcast topic is to make you feel good about you and your job, but two,
And your
also
mistakes.
to share that you're not alone, and also to hopefully share some stories where you won't even touch these, because we're gonna now dive into some of the big ones that we can find.
The big oopsies.
The big oopsies with the big old poopsies.
So I got to start off with one. We were on the topic of cars earlier. This one gave me a little chuckle.
Okay.
It's just it doesn't go into a huge explanation about it, but in 1971, Ford unveils the Pinto, an affordable subcompact sedan that bursts into flames when rear-ended. It was a $1.5 million recall.
No way.
Your
The
Pintos-
Pinto exploded when they got rear-ended.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy
Dude, it
dang.
was such a piece of garbage.
Could you imagine the fear of the person
That's
you
gotta
rammed?
be that's gotta be the most common like accident I feel is
A rear ending.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
big
right?
time.
So I mean,
Well, as many rear ends as there are, there's a front end too on the other side of it.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, could you imagine you rear end someone else?
it just boom, you're like, oh no, that was a lot worse than I was expecting.
What is this, a Michael Bay movie?
It's like that scene off The Grinch where he spins out of control and then he hits and the little gas starts dripping and he's like, it's gonna blow.
Oh my gosh.
That's how big the Pintos were, right? Were they just like little tiny go-karts?
Yeah,
They were
small.
They
I
were
thought-
small, but they were.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
They had like four or five passengers.
Okay.
I think they were.
I remember the back window was like flat.
Yeah.
At an angle.
Oh, I think
Pinto.
I'm thinking of the Fiesta.
It's
Oh.
I
The Ford Fiesta was super small.
It's like the predecessor, the Ford Pinto. They're
It's such an ugly car
They
too.
are ugly.
Like there's nothing attractive about it.
What year of Pinto? I'm curious.
Well, it said
The only
1971 on this.
1971. Let's check out this bad boy.
Uh,
Really? That car would explode?
Yeah, dude.
That does not look like a car that would explode when it got hit in the back. Interesting.
Anyway, I got a whole bunch, but
Oh, I got big
for
old
it.
lists.
Cam, you want to share one?
I'll give you one. This is funny because it's an oopsie by people who should be like really smart. So in 1999, NASA's Mars Climate Observer came too close to Mars and burned up in its upper atmosphere because of the unit conversion errors. One team of NASA used the metric system.
no.
The other team at Lockheed Martin used the imperial system.
Yeah, this was in Robin Williams stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he covered this in one of his stand-ups, like way back when. Because he was talking about how the guy, he's like, yeah, he was impersonating one of them. He's like, yeah, I thought it was done in feet. Turns out it was done in meters. And he's like, and it just burned up in the atmosphere.
Dude, for real, like, how do you not like communicate something like that?
I don't know. I don't know how, like, I mean, maybe just back then forms weren't very clear,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Because
probably
that
not
was,
nowadays either, but
I feel like user interface though is a lot more clear, and maybe like back then where they had to input data wasn't exactly clear. Because oh man, I remember back then it was terrible. People forget how bad the internet was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen like retro internet
Oh
pages?
yeah, dude.
From back when we were like in high school?
They weren't even. I look at it and I'm like, did we actually think this looked good? Like,
It's like MySpace.
Oh,
no, even worse. I'm talking like
Slap and
bubble
paste.
letters that have like horrible like fonts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like
It looks like something
borders.
you could throw up on Word real fast.
Uh-huh.
It was like
Entire-
slap and paste, slap
Uh-huh.
and copy.
entire web pages done in Comic Sans with like bright neon colors.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Without-
like
without a
random pictures
transparent
over
background.
here.
Oh, it was so bad.
It's just
Clip
one
art.
sentence.
No wonder why it got buried into their atmosphere. Anyway,
Dude.
I have
how much
one.
was that oopsie? Did it say? Did it give a number?
Let's see. It
I got it.
doesn't.
125
say.
million.
Okay.
Whoa! What year
Back
was
in
that?
when?
It was a 99, dude.
99.
It's 125 million in
Y2K
99.
did it.
So. All right, I got another one.
Okay.
Netflix has come a long way from the snail mail DVD rental subscription days, evolving into a powerhouse entertainment company. Unfortunately, Blockbuster Video didn't see its potential when Netflix wanted to get into business with them. According to Inc., in 2000, Netflix came to Blockbuster with a proposal to take care of the digital aspect of their company while Blockbuster would operate the brick and mortar component. Blockbuster responded with a costly no and is now left with just one store in its Bend one store in the entire world, which is in Bend, Oregon. This cost, let's see, where was it? It was so Netflix wanted to join, or Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for $50 million. Netflix is now worth $150 billion.
Oh my gosh. And I think that Blockbuster up in Bend, Oregon is only operating off of
Airbnb.
well, it is, yeah, they are doing Airbnb, but also I think it was through not like a charity, but what do you call that? Almost like patronage.
It's like, yeah,
Nonprofit.
Yeah, nonprofit.
all the movies there are donated, like everything's like it's ran privately. They kind of went through some legal thing to be able to keep the Blockbuster name, but it's not.
I watched a documentary on it, and it said that she was waiting for the letter to say they closed down because there's still a Blockbuster corporate that does that, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
That being said, I reached out when it first became an Airbnb. They announced that it became an Airbnb. I reached out as men try, hoping that I could get us to like go there for an episode.
Dude, that'd be so dope.
I think it'd be so fun.
I gotta join that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now it would be the Fives a Crowd experiences Blockbuster. Because I could
yeah.
not watch
Yeah.
you guys just go ham. That'd be hilarious, man. You guys would be like, that
Dude,
would
we
hit
wouldn't
some
end up
real
watching
nostalgia.
anything
Yeah.
because they would just spend all night trying to pick it.
That's an Airbnb.
Yeah, it's an
You know how
Airbnb.
many times me and Kara have tried to watch a movie at night and it never happens because I can't pick a movie?
I'm the same way.
Yep.
Really?
I'm
Case
the
in
same.
point.
I watch movies like some people surf channels. I'll watch like 10 minutes of a movie and be like, nah, I'm not into it. And just to get into another movie. No, I don't know.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I can,
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That actually surprises me. I thought you'd be the type to watch it through.
You'd have to finish it.
I mean, it depends on the movie. But like if I'm kind of, I can't choose type thing.
So pre-internet
Indecisive.
streaming, you would literally like swap DVDs?
Uh-huh.
Holy, that's a lot of work.
you have to get off the couch.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yup.
That's crazy.
I
That's
don't
crazy
remember how
talk.
many years it's been since I've touched a DVD.
You want to know? I've been doing this since VHS, though. So you think DVD's hard work? I would rewind the 10 minutes of a VHS I watched.
I never rewound movies.
No,
I
we
left
had
it for the next
the
person.
dedicated rewinder.
Yep.
Oh, I would.
what
It's
we
like
did.
putting your
We
shopping
plugged in
cart away.
Rewinder.
In my, it's just,
Nah, man.
Only if it were like if it were
it was a
a rental.
rented, yeah.
If it was our own, I didn't care.
Nope, we had a dedicated rewinder. You just put it in there, he winds it on its own.
We didn't have one of
It was
those.
so loud.
I know they were.
They hit those hyper speeds.
It would have stages. It'd be like, exactly. Then you hear it slowing down. You're like, okay, where was there?
And then you like try and time it to try and pass all the ads,
Yep.
right? The little movie trailers. You're like, you stop it. Like,
I hated the ones, the VCRs or something that when you had it in rewind or fast forward, the screen would get too fuzzy that you couldn't tell where you were at. So you'd have to play it every once in a while just to see where you were at.
That's how I feel nowadays.
Why?
because it does a 10-second skip.
Yeah, because half the time it doesn't. I would prefer it to get the wiggly lines, so you see everything moving real fast. Now you have to like 10-second skip, and you're like too far, and then you go back, and you're right back where you were, and you're like, well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
What are you on that it's doing that?
Everything digital. Like when you click, it goes ahead 10 seconds.
And then if you
I-
click back, it goes back 10 seconds.
Yeah. So
And then
sometimes
you're
you'll go
like-
ahead, and you're like, oh, too far, and you go back, and you're like, I should have just waited.
I should have just watched it. That would have taken up the time.
Well, I think in the settings of the apps, you could set how big your increments are.
Yeah, you can.
That's too much work.
I
Some are 30.
just
YouTube's
use the like
Prove it.
little arrow dials instead of the actual fast forward or whatever, and it just pulls up the stream of boxes so you can see in the show that you're
but
at, and you just arrow over to the one you want and hit play.
Then you're going through like every frame. It's like you
but
have
then-
like 30 frames every second.
Yeah,
So
but
you're
you hold it down and it jumps across the
then
screen.
it keeps going too far.
And then you're going back. So by
Oh,
the
I
time
don't
you're
have
there,
that
you're
problem.
forward, back.
Now I suddenly feel
You
like
got
the one
muscle
that's
memory.
slightly advanced.
You got muscle memory.
Yeah. I've gotten to the
I'm
point
just
though,
saying that, like,
I've gotten to the point where some shows like their intros now, I know how many clicks it is. So you wait for a specific moment, and then you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like, okay, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate the ones that don't have the like skip
intro.
intro.
Yes.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Or here's this one. This one drives me nuts. Disney Plus and their
yeah.
stupid credits.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You ever watch let your kid I let Scarlett watch their they have these like nursery rhyme things.
Okay.
The nursery rhyme's like 5 minutes. The credits also like 5 minutes. So she'll watch one, it'll end, but there is no skip. It doesn't queue up and go, next video starts in 5 seconds. It goes through the entire freaking credits and then starts the next episode.
So that's why you fast forward through them.
I'm not
at
sitting
100.
there watching.
But the Marvel movies,
It's annoying.
the Marvel movies, though, you can skip credits to see the end scenes. They added that to it.
Yeah, I saw
When?
that.
Yeah, they did add that to the Marvel ones.
That's
All,
nice.
we're going through Marvel with Alden right now. So.
Hallelujah. But yeah, it drives me nuts because the credits on some things are so freaking long and they don't. Like Hulu, Netflix, all those other ones. It's like, oh, you're at next episode starting in like
It doesn't do
7,
the loop.
6,
Yeah.
5, 4.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't do it.
Put in a feature request.
I got another one.
Okay,
You'll
let's hear it.
appreciate this one.
Sweet.
1993, Super Bowl, fourth quarter. Cowboy Leon Lett showboats in front of the end zone, giving Buffalo's Don Beebe a chance to come from behind and strip the ball.
Sounds provocative.
What's the one where he ran and dropped the ball before he got
That
into-
was the
Oh,
Utah
yeah.
Oregon game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it happens
that's
multiple
happened-
times.
It's happened a lot of time, but yeah.
But the big one, at least around here, was that game, and that
Yeah.
was Utah celebrating.
Yeah, Utah, they celebrated early and he dropped it on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
And,
And then Oregon picked it up and ran it
picked it
all
up and ran
the
it.
way back.
and it ruined, that was Utah's, it was a big year for them and it pretty much deflated their motivation. Like, would have put them up by like 3 scores. Instead, it turned around and put them up by 1. And yeah, it was bad.
But they redeemed this last year,
They did.
beat
did.
Oregon twice to get into, what's it called? The
Kill them twice to get into the Pac-12 championship. game.
Pac-12.
Nice.
So
Here's one for you. This one was an oopsie of architecture.
Ooh.
So this skyscraper in London,
I read this
named the Walkie Talkie, was built in a way that it was actually a giant concave piece of glass, and it mirrored the sun down onto the street, onto cars.
I heard about this.
And it heated up so much that it melted cars
No
and
way.
caught doormats and stuff on fire on the street below.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So like all the plastic parts of the cars were just like starting to droop off and stuff and like deform.
It was like a magnifying glass when you fry ants.
Oh, that's
ants are the-
amazing.
Cars.
Yep.
That's
And so
crazy.
then they have to, it said something, they had to buy like a mesh protection thing to keep it from doing that. That costed them like a couple
You
million
can't
or
just like
something.
you can't just be like, well, we got to take that building down.
That's crazy.
You got to find a fix for it.
You know what's crazy is I kind of have that happening on the front of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the angle of our house during the summer months, the way the sun sets, it hits my front window upstairs. I'm fairly certain. I haven't really like put too much science behind this, but I'm 99% sure that the sun will hit the window and it reflects and hits my grass, and I get this burn mark that's perfect.
That follows
that
the
follows
reflection.
Yeah, that follows the reflection.
Oh, that's annoying.
And so like the last few years that we've been living here, I'm like, why is my grass always dead right here? And then I was out there mowing one day and I was like blinded by it. And I was like, oh.
The cruel turn of events.
Get some tint film.
I got one.
Okay.
right.
This is a blunder of history. 1788, the Austrian army accidentally attacks itself
What?
Oh, shut up.
and killed 10,000 of their own men.
No way.
What? Does he go into it?
No, that's all.
Nobody
that's
recognized each other, huh?
Well, yeah. 1788. I don't know what war it is, what they're doing, but they attacked themselves and killed 10,000 of their own
And
men.
that's when in war they started wearing different colors.
Yep.
That's weird.
They were probably wearing magenta.
That makes so much sense. Everybody's the
Led by my John Cena. It's who this. Surprised he doesn't wear magenta.
So on the war thing, I got one. 1527. A 600-man Spanish expedition tries to colonize Florida, loses its ships, finds no gold, and gets routed by natives. 4 survivors are left wandering naked.
That sucks.
What?
How did that happen so fast?
I was like,
600 Spanish expedition, 600-man Spanish expedition tries to colonize Florida, but instead loses its ships, finds no gold, and gets routed by natives. And only 4 survivors are left wandering naked.
so is this modern day? Like, are we talking Floridians?
Well,
like
it was,
crazy
No.
it said
nanny
it was in
Floridians?
1527. So
Okay.
Long
They're the
time
ancestors of.
I'm just
ago. A
kidding.
Florida man. They are the birth of Florida man, right there, the 4 of them. Oh my goodness gracious.
Here's another historical one.
Okay.
awesome.
Has to deal with the Dutch.
Yes.
Those bloody Dutchmen.
I am from Holland. Isn't that weird?
The Dutch first discovered Australia 100 years before the British did, but they just ignored it, thinking it was a useless desert.
No way. Oh my
That
gosh.
sucks.
Well, I mean, I wonder what Australia would have been like had the Dutch colonized it.
Depends on which coast.
Like I say, I mean, they're not wrong. A lot of it is desert. Like,
The outback.
yeah, the outback.
Crocodile Dundee lives there.
Dundee.
Right.
Dundee.
Here's one for you. In a few days before the end of World War II, a German submariner accidentally flushed the toilet the wrong way, causing a flood and forcing the submarine to surface. It was then captured near the coast of Scotland.
Wait, how does someone try and flush a toilet and surface a submarine?
So,
How do you flush
he
a
caused
toilet the wrong
flood.
way?
So in 1945, Germans were able to develop a new deep water, high pressure toilet system that would let them flush human waste while under the sea. So the waste was directed into a series of pressurized airlocks and then blasted out into the sea with compressed air.
So men were shooting out torpedoes.
Oopsies.
And then while cruising near Peterhead, Scotland at a depth of 200 feet, the submarine started getting flooded after the misuse of the toilet. The seawater soon entered and flooded the batteries, which were below the toilet, releasing chlorine gas. The commander had no choice but to surface, ended up being discovered and bombed by the British patrols.
Oh my gosh.
Wait! Our toilet's clogged! Don't shoot us!
That's a crappy deal.
Shitter's full.
It's a torpedo.
Torpedo.
I got a Russian blunder.
Okay.
Ukraine?
Oh, that will be. Did you know that Russia used to own Alaska?
Yes, I did know that.
Did they really?
They did. The original natives of Alaska came over from Russia on the land bridge.
Uh-huh.
Do you know they sold it to the U.S.
Sure do you.
for only 2 cents an acre?
Oh, I didn't know that.
They also thought it was just another useless piece of tundra that couldn't be colonized.
Not
No
on top
way.
of one of the biggest supplies of oil in the world.
Yep. U.S. doesn't realize it's the biggest,
Oh, they know
oil
it.
We
thing.
do.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because we don't use it.
We
We do. Okay. Yes.
We do here
We
at this
do.
table.
Yes.
Most people do. The
Yeah.
guy up top doesn't hear well. Or think well.
Or
Anyways,
remember well.
wasn't it like
Orwell.
$7 million?
Something like that. However many acres.
It was only
Alaska
I
is,
think I feel it was only
crazy.
Only like
we got
7
it for
million.
cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap.
What did they call it?
Yeah, you used to be able to go find land and colonize it, and it was yours. I wish I was back in those days. The land grabs.
Yeah, dude. I
How
saw
many
that
people
movie
do
with
you
Tom
think-
Cruise.
How many people do you think died?
A lot.
Just because, I want this land. No, that's my land.
You just described every war ever.
Not anymore.
This land is your land.
All right. Touche.
7.2 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was 1.5 million square kilometers of land.
What is that in actual measurements?
Homesteading. Just kidding. It was back when you'd homestead,
Miles.
though. You heard about homesteading, right?
Nope.
So
You'd straight up like plant a stake, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you'd go. They'd have a line like when you'd homestead, and they'd let everybody go, and you'd go find where they'd stake, and it'd be this 1,000 acres or that 1,000 acres. So then you'd go and grab that land, and if you settled it and built your farm there, you'd get all that property. It was given to you.
I remember there was what movie is it with Tom Cruise in
I have
it
no idea.
and like Nicole Kidman, and they do that.
Yeah.
Like they run out and like grab the stake.
Yeah, if you grabbed the stake, it was yours. Finders keepers type thing.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, I think it's how they kind of met when they first got. Didn't they get married?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know which movie you're talking about.
Look
is
up
it
Tom
called?
Cruise homesteading movie.
Is it called homesteading?
No, it's. I can see the cover of the movie, like
He's
my
in
head.
like a white shirt, like like a pilgrim looking dude, far and away.
Yes.
I'll have to watch it.
All right, I got one. I haven't read this one, but it's called Bad Apple. We've learned a lot about Apple founders Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak over the years as the tech company changed the way we live and do business. But there was a third founder of the giant who at one time owned 10% of the company, and his name is Ronald Wayne.
Yep.
Wayne was an Apple founder for just 12 days before deciding to sell his share of Jobs and Wozniak for a mere $800.
Freaking idiot.
Unfortunate considering the company is worth $1 trillion.
Actually, it's almost 3 now.
Goodness.
$3 trillion.
Yep.
Wow.
$800.
Yeah.
Holy.
Who'd he sell the shares to?
I think he sold them back.
To Wozniak and Jobs.
Yeah.
prolonged gratification versus instant gratification.
Right?
Right?
There's your lesson.
Well, yeah,
it.
considering it currently is like the most valuable company on the planet.
It was started in a garage, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't ever help but think of Forrest Gump when he's
Stupid is what stupid does.
Well, like no, when he's like Lieutenant Dan invested our money into some fruit company, and we don't have to worry about money no more.
Oh yeah.
And he opens up the envelope, and it's the apple symbol.
Oh yeah.
Some fruit company.
Yeah.
That whole show, like when you're a kid watching it, it's the dumbest show, and then as you're an adult watching
Right?
it,
You're
oh,
like, holy crap.
like the luck that their ship didn't sink when all these other shrimp boats sank, and he's like, shrimping's easy because there's nobody else doing it.
God must have been listening because right then and there.
I hate Jenny.
I think I've only ever seen that movie once or twice. I've never.
It's one of my all-time
I've never
favorites.
even seen the whole thing.
I love Forrest
I
Gump.
appreciate it now. It doesn't. I don't know. It's still not one of my favorites, but I can actually
That's
appreciate
how I
the
feel
movie.
about
I
it.
think that maybe that's more of the.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the movie, but it's because of the like every time Jenny's in the shot, I'm like, like get out of here. But then the rest of it, I love. I don't know.
So speaking of money loss,
Okay.
a company intended to sell one share for 610,000 yen, which is like $5,000, but it sold 610,000 shares for 1 yen.
Oh.
Due to this typing error, it cost the company $225 million on the stock trade.
Oh, someone got fired.
Someone got dead.
I think everybody got fired.
Yeah. That company.
Oh, I'm hiding. I'm hiding.
And here's the thing. This was in 2005.
My gosh.
Oh, wait.
That made me sick.
Though the guy who did it tried to cancel the transaction, the exchange said the transactions cannot be canceled, even if they were executed erroneously.
Yeah, because
It's what? This one says, oh, okay, that's right. Never mind. In yen, that's 27 billion.
Wow.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Dude, that's what scares me so much about stock trading.
Right.
You have to be
You have
so
to be on top of
cautious.
it.
Uh-huh.
You cannot mess those numbers up.
You know how we talked about moon landing
Yeah.
and how it's fake? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That podcast is out by now, right?
No.
Isn't it?
Well, yes.
Yes.
I
I mean, as
I'm
they're
thinking in
listening
terms
to this
of
episode,
right now, not
Yeah.
future right now.
Yeah.
When this one comes out,
episode
Moon
they're
Landing
listening
will
right
have
now,
been
moon
out.
landing's already out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna add to this little
it's like
conspiracy.
we're reading the future.
NASA accidentally taped over the moon landing.
Did they really?
In fact, there is no known original recordings of the event. Imagine
Sounds
that.
convenient.
Sounds very convenient.
Now, why wasn't that the leading argument?
I don't know. I
That's
can
a-
find it in my cursory research.
Interesting.
Says conspiracy
I
theories.
feel like that would be
ensue.
the top of the list.
Well, it's on the top of my list now. Imagine that.
So then what have we been watching?
There's no original recordings.
Here's the real question: what did they record over it with?
I don't know. Super
Probably
Bowl.
some porn. it's like on Friends when they accidentally get a porn channel and they're afraid to turn
yeah.
the TV off.
Yeah, free porn.
I think we got to turn the porn off, man.
Oh gosh.
All right, I got one. This one we've all heard of, but it's still fun. So it starts out with one thing, goes into another. But Game of Thrones fan couldn't help but notice a Starbucks cup mistakenly left in a pivotal scene on the HBO series. But other television... Okay. Oh, sorry. It's just kind of using that as an example. But other television and movie mishaps actually cost studios a ton of money. when Warner Bros. Gathered the cast of Justice League for some badly needed reshoots. Henry Cavill, aka Superman, was in the midst of shooting another film that required him to have some pretty heavy facial hair.
He was
Mission
filming
Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Yep.
He had a stash, big old stash.
He had to film the reshoots with the mustache, and according to Looper, Warner Bros. Spent millions of dollars digitally removing the pesky hairs from the Justice League film to make Superman appear as his smooth self. They might not be as costly as... But yeah, so millions of dollars to CGI remove his mustache.
I remember
which-
that. 'Cause
Wasn't it like insanely? Did you give a specific number?
No, I just said millions.
Because I
don't know.
swear it was like $250 million.
and it didn't look that good.
No, you could tell.
I remember it's because it's mostly prevalent in like the very first scenes,
Is that
When
like
he's in like
Schneider's-
the...
showing the video of him or whatever.
Yeah, when he's in like Central America or something like that. And
The whole time I was like, "What's wrong with his face? Like something's wrong."
yep.
Which in what movie is that?
Justice
In
League.
the original release of Justice League. I don't know if it was in the second one. I didn't.
The what's his name? Zack Snyder one? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it was so bad.
One that I think you guys definitely know of is that Will Smith passed up the opportunity to play Neo in The Matrix.
Yep.
Did you know that?
I think I don't know if I knew the
It
Will
makes
Smith
you
one.
wonder though.
I
like,
think
he's doing all
he
right.
passed it up for Independence.
No, he passed it up for Wild Wild West.
Oh, that's right.
I love that movie.
I
actually
love
like that
Wild
movie
Wild
too.
West, but
But that's the thing is, I think about some of those and I'm like, if he were Neo, would that movie be as big? Though,
Yeah,
you know, what I mean? I don't know.
I think so, but I don't know if he would have done all the sequels.
Like if John Wick was any other actor, would it be as popular?
That's a good
if
question.
it were Tom Cruise, no, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Totally kidding.
Wow.
Is that on a sidebar? Is that Tom Cruise thing about him being Iron Man a thing?
Yes.
That's a
He
real
wasn't-
thing.
yeah,
That's
He
a real
wasn't tall
legit.
enough for the suit though.
in the metaverse, right?
No, like he was.
I heard they're gonna bring him in the metaverse.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
But like original before casting Robert Downey Jr., Tom Cruise was their pick.
Oh,
Yeah, they could
That
never
would've been
come to terms
horrible.
on anything though.
You know, on the Neo thing, I saw one. Brad Pitt was also wanted to play Neo.
No way.
Yeah.
That would have
Again,
been
like
weird.
I don't see him
I don't
being
see
it.
it. Like
But here's the thing, though: is what if Keanu Reeves was never cast and it was Brad Pitt?
Would you know
Could
the
you?
difference?
Would you know the difference? Like you wouldn't know the difference.
I mean, yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like
Would it still do the
they
same?
create these cult followings around these specific people.
The hard thing is I do agree though that if they would have cast somebody else, I don't think they would have got the sequels out of them, especially this brand new one that came out. Because it seems like Keanu Reeves is like, heck yeah,
He enjoys it.
let's have some fun.
I gotta ask this. Just thinking of kind of their bigger roles, and I want to say they came out maybe around the same time, maybe not. What if Brad Pitt played Neo, and Keanu Reeves played Tyler Durden in Fight Club?
I could see him playing.
Say that
Fight
again?
Club.
So Brad Pitt played Tyler Durden, the main
Yes.
character in Fight Club. Well, one of them. So what if Keanu Reeves played Tyler Durden
I
and
could
Brad
see that,
Pitt was
actually.
Neo? Like just taking
Oh,
those
flipping
two,
those two
flipping
roles?
those two. Yeah,
I think Keanu Reeves would have played good in Fight Club.
you think?
See, no, I picture like when I think of Neo, I think of Keanu Reeves has this like this
Awkwardness.
monotone face.
That's a very good way of putting it.
Right? And like that's what makes Neo is that kind of
Yeah.
like monotone, like
Well, because he's supposed to be like he's a computer hacker living in this like very modern world. Like, so yeah, I agree. He just
Well, even when he gets upset, he's like, "You will do that." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just
Like and I don't see
Yeah.
that coming from anyone else. So like I feel like it'd probably be an action movie and people are like, "Oh, this is cool," but I don't know if it would like
have the same tone to it.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw, speaking of like actors like that, one really weird one that I didn't hear about. Johnny Depp was supposed to play the Hulk.
Oh, that would be weird.
Not in the Avengers, like the first one, the one that came out with
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana.
Comes in, he's like, "Oh, Hulk smash."
Think about Hulk because he's dishonest.
Don't get Hulk angry.
You can always count on.
You wouldn't like me. You wouldn't like me when you're
You will
angry.
like me when I'm angry.
That's so good, dude. That's awesome.
That was awesome.
I like that.
I can't recall. Maybe you guys can remember for me, but I swear there was some gigantic deal that didn't go through because of a fax machine error. I want to say it was like an actor deadline, or maybe it was even an NFL player deadline. It's like
that
right,
sounds
you're
really
talking
it's
familiar.
about,
right
but
there on the tip of my head. I can't think of it, but
I know exactly what you're talking
Like a
about. But it's,
draft wonder, huh?
yeah, it was like some giant
That sounds
player
really
that
familiar.
they were supposed to sign this giant contract. I can't remember, but the agent didn't, like, he put the papers in the fax machine or something and he didn't send it or something to that effect. So he missed the deadline and it was some ginormous
Yeah.
deal. I can't remember
That
what
rings
it
a
was.
bell.
Oh. And
Is it Elvis Dumervil?
Oh,
from
Dumervil?
Broncos? Dumervil?
yes.
Says the fax mishap that cost the Broncos Elvis Dumervil.
Yes, that's what it was.
Who's Elvis Dumervil?
He was a defensive tackle for the Broncos. He was a stud. And he got, because of this, then he got shipped off to, I want to say Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
But yeah, there was like this big, huge ordeal where his agent forgot to do something on the faxing day.
Oh,
Dumervil assented to the new deal about 35 minutes before 4 p.m., the negotiating deadline. But with Majid in his office in Philadelphia and Dumervil in Miami, logistics got tricky. Somehow it fell to Dumervil to find a Miami Kinko's to fax the signed contract to Denver, and said fax failed to arrive at Broncos headquarters until 6 minutes after the deadline at 3:59. The Broncos informed the league that they were cutting Dumervil rather than face a $13 million plus cap charge for the season.
Yeah, so they just cut ties. Wow. Could you imagine being his agent and having like that blunder?
You wouldn't be his agent anymore after that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's freaking terrible. But on a similar note, that's also what happened down here at Park City. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
So Canyons and Park City used to be two separate ski resorts, both kind of rivaling one another because they're literally using the same mountain range.
Yeah.
And they're like right next to each other. Well, Canyons, went like literally one day beyond their lease. So they were leasing the land and they missed their
heard
own
about
deadline
this.
and Park City swooped in on that day where they missed it. And
yeah.
now it's all just one giant Park City
They
resort.
were
Yeah.
hoping for that, praying for that
Yeah.
mistake.
Could you imagine?
Oh, dang.
I hate it now because now there's no competition in that range and now those ski tickets are stupid.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's like $180 a day
yeah,
for one
I'm
person.
sure it is stupid.
Jeez.
Dumb.
Yeah.
All
You know
those
what else?
celebs coming down and
You know what else is dumb?
Huh.
Book publishers.
Oh yeah.
You know how big Harry Potter is now?
Yeah.
Who's
Do you
this?
know Harry Potter? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I get what you're doing.
What?
I get you.
Harry Pot.
Harry Potter.
Harry Pooter?
Did you know J.K. Rowling tried to sell the first book to 12 different publishers?
Yeah.
And they turned her down because they didn't think the book would do well and it wasn't relevant.
I've heard about that.
Yup.
12 different
12
publishers.
different publishers shut her down.
What's she worth now? It's gotta be something,
it's
something
billions.
I think
stupid.
she's in the billions.
Is she in the bees?
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
and the funny thing is she created this book out of a diner, like for
Yeah,
her
she
daughter.
wrote the idea on some
I thought it was
napkins.
napkins or something
Well,
like that.
It doesn't matter. I heard it was on napkins. I heard it was on a train, like to and from her job or something.
That could have
but
been it.
I
No,
don't
because
know.
I'm pretty sure if I remember it, they were like homeless and
Oh, she's
on the verge.
She's
of,
close. She's 820 million.
Jeez.
So not Yeezy money yet, huh?
Not yet.
Euros.
$820 million.
You are correct.
It's still
So
pretty
how
darn
much is
close
that
to
in
US.
Euros are worth more than the dollar.
Barely.
It's like
It's not-
1.1.
Yeah, but when you
It's
add
not
up a
much.
few million of them,
I mean,
It's like 10 cents or
828.
something like that.
it gives her an extra $74 million.
It's quite a bit.
What?
excuse me.
Yeah, but 820 million euros is 948,000. Or sorry, yeah, $894,948,000.
That's a bit.
So she has less money in Europe than she would have over here?
No,
Yes.
I thought the euro was more.
Sorry, no.
the euro
No,
is
yeah.
more.
Yeah, that is euros to dollars.
Yeah.
So the
dollar's worth
dollar's
more.
more than a euro?
No.
No, a
No.
euro is 1.1 USD dollars.
Yeah.
Oh.
In euros, she has 820 million.
Okay.
Wait, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
But in
but you
dollars,
said
she has
it-
894 million.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah,
So you
you're
get
thinking
more
of it
converting
backwards.
euros to a dollar.
because it takes more dollars to
Make
add
a
up
euro.
to a euro because
Yes.
a euro is worth more.
Oh.
it's
Yes.
too late.
Yeah.
It's getting late.
It's
Don't
getting
worry.
late. It
Math
is.
is hard when
It
it's
is.
late.
Math
at night.
is-
Math is hard
Dumb.
every day. I squeaked on that in puberty.
No,
guys.
that was
That's a
perfect
poopsie.
timing though.
So yeah, because the euro's worth more, you actually get more money if you come to somewhere where it's worth less.
Yes.
So because the dollar's
kinda like,
less
think of
valuable
going
than
from-
the euro, she has more money over here.
Think of taking the US dollar and going to Mexico. You're going to get a lot more in Mexico with $10 US dollars in Mexico because the dollar's worth more.
See, I thought it was different.
It's like a difference between
I
a
thought it was
burger
the
and a
other way
steak
around.
dinner.
I
Yeah.
thought like if I went to Europe right now, I would get more money.
Nope.
No.
You'd get less.
Canada, you would.
And
little
most anywhere else.
On that line of, what's her name?
J.K.
J.K.
Rowling.
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
Rowling.
Browling.
Similar story with the Beatles, right? Didn't the Beatles, weren't they pitched to like a bunch of different labels and everyone was like, no,
You
thanks,
guys
no
are too
thanks.
crazy for that.
No, they're like guitar stuff is over. Like we don't need this.
It's the same thing with Queen when they wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, and they tried to sell it or whatever. And the guy, it's in the movie, but what the guy was like, nobody's gonna listen to this song. Like this is like you guys are stupid. And yeah, they left and they're like, great, we'll do it on our own then.
Yeah.
And it's like it's probably one of their, if not their top song. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
don't know.
most
were-
recognized, I would
Yeah.
bet.
Decca was the company they went to, Decca Records, and
Queen or
the
Beatles?
Beatles.
oh Beatles.
In January 1962, they auditioned. Decca wasn't impressed. Said guitar bands had had their day. They thought, and this bunch of scruffy misfits weren't going to change that anytime soon. They couldn't even spell the word Beatle.
Because they used an A instead of an E.
Because they were being
The
creative.
group,
Uh-huh.
yep, the group was of course the Beatles, and they went on to conquer the world of music. And Decca's loss was good news for the much smaller record label EMI, who gave the soon-to-be Fab Four a chance and sat back and watched the money roll in.
Wow.
Could you imagine being that guy? Oh,
It makes you wonder how often that happens.
it happens
Probably
often,
quite a
dude.
fair bit.
Have you guys watched The Last Dance on Netflix?
No.
No,
I'm not even a basketball fan, but it's about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And it's all about how he came to be and the things that he went through.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And it's so good. It's phenomenal. Highly recommend it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not even a basketball fan. I loved every second of it. But anyway, in there he's talking about how there was some brand, it was Adidas. He wanted to sign with Adidas, it's a shoe company.
Oh, I did hear about this.
And Adidas didn't want to have him. And so then up comes this tiny starter shoe company
Out of its shed.
called Nike. And
Nikes.
they they're trying to wheel and deal and get Jordan in, and they're like, he's like, nah. And his mom finally calls him up and says, hey, I don't care. You need to go down there and you need to check this place out.
Well, didn't he really wanted Adidas because didn't like his dad or somebody, like there was something like sentimental about Adidas?
I can't recall that.
Oh.
But
He
while they're
doesn't dream about soccer.
But while he's down there at the place, that's where they come up with the Air Jordans. I want to say they were going to call it something else, but it was like Air Max or something, and then they decided to go Air Jordan. Anyway, you guys can see where
Now the
that
rest
went.
is history.
And Adidas definitely bit the bullet on that one,
Yep.
because holy moly, did he make them some money?
Oh yeah, still is making them money.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Probably what put them on the map, honestly.
Can you pull that up? How much money Jordan has made Nike?
Yes.
It is insane. They said the numbers. It was his first year. I want to say it was like 320 million back then.
I still think it's funny on
I
Space
want to
Jam
say that's right.
when he goes to get him or whatever, and he names off all of Michael Jordan's advertising things. Lace up your Nikes, get your Hanes on, grab a Big Mac on the way to the park.
Oh yeah.
Well, since according to this article in 2020, he's made them over $1 billion.
That's so crazy, dude.
Or no, sorry,
He's made
over $1 billion
I was
from
gonna
Nike.
say,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's
the
made more
biggest-
than that.
The biggest endorsement bargain in sports.
Yeah. I legit think the very first year that he signed with them, he made like $300 million or sales or something. I can't. It was
crazy.
insane.
He
amount.
earns a 5% royalty on every Air Jordan shoe purchase.
5%. So
of every Air Jordan purchased.
So like
how much money?
So
did
he
he
made
make?
$100
$1
he makes
billion.
$5.
No, now this one says 2.1 billion.
Which one's newer?
How the Bulls legend amassed a rumored 2.1 billion fortune over the years.
And the crazy thing is, similar thing happened not too long ago. Like within the last 2 decades, Steph Curry wanted to sign with Nike, and Nike wouldn't sign him. So then he went and signed with Under Armour. Same thing has happened there. So you think Nike would have seen the flashing lights,
Right
like
on the
hello, but no. There are
What if
many.
it was Adidas again? Like he goes to
Went to
Adidas.
Adidas,
and- yeah, like Steph Curry goes to Adidas and they're like, no, we're good. And then all of a sudden, bam. It's like, again.
You need to fire your scout, bud.
Right?
Or he ended up going to Adidas.
Yeah.
And then there's a balance in the force.
So if he made $1 billion in 5% royalty, that would be what, 20 billion?
No, it would
That
be
Nike would have made?
If that's 5%. I mean, it can't be 5% at that scale. Because if that's 5%, we're talking 100 billion.
Says over the last, according to this article from July of 2020, even amidst the
25
pandemic,
billion.
Jordan's hold on footwear has remained strong. Over the past 12 months, Jordan brand shoes grossed more than 3.6 billion.
In just 6 months?
12.
12 months.
That's still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, Jordan, so in 2019, Jordan made 157 million.
Just from the shoes.
I need an
Bro's got
endorsement.
so much money.
Yeah.
So much.
He's
Does-
a smart
What about
dude,
like
too.
everything that has that logo on it? So not just the shoes, but
Oh,
everything.
yeah. I'm sure it's anything that's his likeness.
Yeah. What do they call that? Image likeness, and now they're doing it at colleges.
Yeah, it's
Well,
that's the whole reason they stopped. They couldn't do the game anymore because they were doing the EA game. The last one they did was NCAA 14, and they actually had to stop that because they were creating the characters to the likeness
Of the players.
the players, and the players started getting mad because they weren't getting money for it.
Yeah. Well, now college players can make money through brand deals and stuff like that.
Yes,
So now,
they
and
can.
that's all they can license out their name and image.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which helps with scholarships and stuff.
Which I've also heard that the quarterback at like Oklahoma or something has already made over $1 million.
Yeah.
And he's like he's just in college.
He's in
The-
college.
The downside about that is
Lots of
is now
cocaine.
No, you've got these guys who, let's say you've got a 5-star, and I'm just going to throw Utah out there because it's, my team. And you've got Alabama, and Alabama can say, oh, look at us. We've won all these championships. We can get you some extra money by getting some endorsements and stuff. And Utah goes, I got nothing.
yeah.
And
Sucks for Utah.
bam, there's Alabama, and this guy's going to go, oh, I'm going to go play for Alabama because I can make some extra money off of endorsements. I feel like it's kind of a monopoly a little bit.
Kind of like the Yankees.
Yep. Yankees paid for their championship.
True.
Oh,
But
definitely.
at the same time, then they could find that diamond in the rough too.
Exactly.
So, on that same note as
sleeper
Nike,
quarterback.
though, did you know that the creator of the Nike logo was only paid $35?
Yes, I did. And they found the receipt,
Yep.
right?
Yep. She was paid $35 for the logo.
Are you kidding me?
Does she get anything for it? Now?
$35.
Oh,
What she
dang.
got?
But then later on, the company did surprise her and they gave her 500 shares of stock, which she's never sold. According to this, back in 2011, it was worth about $1 million.
Okay.
That's fair then.
So, but
Well,
let's see
sorta.
here.
Multi-billion-dollar company. Here's $1 million.
Yeah, but I mean, she didn't know then. You know,
Right.
Yeah, they didn't know.
she's just doing a
Yeah.
friend a deal or whatever.
But I mean, that was in 2011.
She's the-
So, however many times the stock is split by now, and it's now $122.
And now she's the lady that she
Made the swoosh.
she put the swoosh into the knight's armor, right? And that's how it was done.
Talking about a knight's tale.
That was a reach, man.
That was two swooshes, okay?
Wow.
And it was back before the shoes were even made.
Oh my lord.
I never want to hear you give me shit for a bad dad joke ever again.
I caught that one as soon as you said it.
It's late.
Oh my
Well, as
goodness.
you can see,
yourself.
You totally redeemed yourself.
So-
Also, Harry Potter is worth $9.1 billion as a whole.
dang,
That's
does-
counting
She's
their
the
amusement park.
highest
It's
paid author.
Oh yeah.
That's
who
counting
wrote-
their amusement parks and everything.
got
I'm assuming.
some publishers who
Did
said
she
nope.
keep her rights to it?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Smart.
To Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's kind of had to step off to the wayside right now.
I think it's
because
in
of
like a
some things she said.
Yeah.
that are not
did she
controversial
say?
at all.
No.
What'd she say?
That I don't know. I don't want to hurt anyone. But she had the audacity to say that men are men and women are women. Stupid.
Well,
How dare she?
as you can see, the world is filled with idiots. Filled.
I gotta
to the
hurry and
brim.
say one. Just
There's
'cause
one more. All right, let's
just gotta-
end on this one.
It's just a quick one. I'll just
Okay.
throw it out there. I was looking up accidents in the workplace. The most, at least according to what I found, the most expensive accident in the workplace is Chernobyl.
No way.
No.
$200 billion.
Oh
And that was made just
That-
because of
$200 billion
that-
in 1986.
That's why the Soviet Union crumbled.
I mean, that's a,
$200 billion.
Yeah. So what's that accumulative today? It's 35 years
You said
ago.
1986
Yeah.
oh my god.
with inflation. It's the equivalent of $513 billion. That's half a trillion.
That's from
Wow.
1986.
Yeah.
Apple could write a check for that. That's not a problem.
Yeah. They
But
won't do it.
dang. That's what I found anyways, like as far as
Dang.
workplace ones.
That's crazy.
The runner-up was the Space Shuttle Columbia explosion. Then there was Prestige oil spill. The
about the
Space
opioid?
Shuttle Challenger explosion.
Well, don't forget, the Soviets are not the greatest engineers because they also, in fear of poisonous methane gas spreading, started a fire on a crater that is still currently burning 40 years later.
Where's this crater?
It's near Turkmenistan, and they call it the door to hell or the gates of hell. It's a continuously burning pit.
What's keeping it burning?
Yeah.
The methane gas that's
Methane
coming
gas.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
got you.
Oh my gosh.
It's like Earth's butthole.
But they were afraid of the poisoning gases coming out to the town, so they set it on fire, expecting it would burn off in a couple weeks. And it's been 40 years.
40 years. I mean, is that really dumb though?
230 feet round.
Jeez. Is that even that dumb though? Like, could you imagine all that methane gas just coming out?
It's not like there's much around it. It's just a bunch of sand.
It's pretty epic. That's an epic.
That's wild.
I'd like to see it.
I would go see it.
It's pretty cool looking.
Let's wait for things to settle, but
So to finish off this top 10 that I found, the Piper Alpha oil rig, Exxon Valdez.
Exxon Valdez.
Yes. A B-2 stealth bomber crash.
How much did that one cost?
That was 1.4 billion.
Does it have the guy that Italian cruise ship captain who crashed into the sea bank and it sank?
Capsized
Capsized
Not
sideways.
in the top 10.
He was apparently like showing some lady some stuff and he ran into a bank and it just
I remember that.
yeah.
Wasn't that semi recently?
Yeah, it was like less than 10 years ago.
Okay, yeah. They have the Chatsworth train collision in 2008.
Give us
Tanker.
numbers, man.
The
Do we have
Costa
numbers?
Concordia.
Oh yeah. So kind of going back, 13 billion was the space shuttle, the Columbia. 12 billion was the Prestige oil spill. 5.5 billion was the Challenger's explosion. 3.4 billion was the Piper Alpha oil rig. 2.5 billion was the Exxon Valdez. 1.4 billion was the B-2 Stealth. 5 million was the Chatsworth train collision. 358 million was a tanker truck explosion on the Wattle Bridge.
Was that you?
Believe it or not.
Close. That was Anthony Campbell.
And then number 10 on the scale, the Titanic. For
The
150 million.
Yeah, that's the Olympic, bud.
Just, whee!
My word.
did they save it?
In one last one, you got those numbers.
Okay.
I got a big blunder.
Okay.
This one's huge. You remember the search engine Lycos?
I think I remember
Remember
that.
Lycos?
Lycos.
The
think
dog?
so.
Yeah, his little
okay.
dog, Lycos.com, big search
Sounds
engine.
familiar,
yeah.
It
Still
was-
around.
Is it?
Yeah. It's 37 degrees in Linden right now.
Well, anyways, a Spanish telecom company, Terra, took a gamble when they purchased the search engine Lycos in 2000 for $12 billion.
Oh, that sucks.
At the time, so year 2000, at the time, Lycos was the third most visited site in America. I'm sure next to Yahoo and Ask Jeeves and
Google.
and whatever.
You could still set up a mail account.
Oh, cool.
Gosh.
Anyways, but that was before the dot-com bubble burst. In just about a year, most internet companies in America lost $1 million in value, and Lycos was perhaps the biggest loser. Terra would eventually sell the search engine in 2004, so 4 years later, they sold it for a whopping $95.4 million. With a loss of $11.6 billion.
Big oops. Look at this thing. That's a crappy website, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's
it's-
it, dude.
I
Like,
don't remember
see
that.
Linden. Yeah, hey, look at that.
Does it still have the dog on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like a greyhound.
yep, yeah.
Oh, not really a
Oh,
greyhound.
I
my
never
goodness.
used this
I
at all.
remember seeing commercials for it.
It's the long
Like, it
term.
would yell at it, would
Jeez.
say, Lycos, go get this. And he would throw it, and it would show the dog like running through the city.
I
and
never.
Oh,
coming
that
back.
commercial sounds familiar.
I
now.
remember Yahoo. I used Yahoo for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Count on Chris. He got that high pitch.
Yeah.
Weird.
Sorry, I know we're trying to end, but this one just was funny.
You guys are killing me.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
IT worker James Howells mistakenly throws away an old hard drive containing 75,000 bitcoins.
Oh, yeah.
Worth 1,000 when he bought them and 50 million today.
Now that's actually a crazy story. Have you heard that?
I haven't
one?
heard of that one.
So this dude,
He bought it when it was super worth.
yeah, well, yeah, he just said he bought $1,000 worth and it's worth 50 million now.
Yeah.
The dude put it on a hard drive and threw it away before it exploded. Right, the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so now it's in a landfill somewhere. And he is trying to leverage the money that's on that hard drive to then use to go find it. So he's trying to like find investors and people to like, hey, if you help me find this and give me some of your money, I will then split my shares with you. So it's crazy. I mean, you can't blame the
Kind of
guy.
like a treasure
It's just
hunt
the
a little
password
bit.
that's on the
but
hard
that's
drive, right?
gotta
So we
be
can
almost-
access it.
Well, it's encrypted. So yeah,
Yeah,
It has his password to get on to because
Yeah,
he forgot the
encryption
password.
file.
I don't know all the jargon. I just know that you
But
can put it in a
this is
vault.
where it comes down to blockchain. Like the code, the physical code is the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's
It
on.
doesn't
Like you
exist.
legit.
So
No,
the
you
Bitcoin's
legit.
on it.
Yeah. So
okay.
they have physical wallets and they're just drives.
Okay.
And if you lose that, you legit lose all your money.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Jeez.
It's like if you lose $100, you lose $100.
Exactly.
Well, and that's only if you take it offline. Like you can
Yeah.
have it just on your hard drive, or you can have it in the cloud.
yeah.
What is the cloud?
And back then, obviously, nobody probably did. Like it wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But could you
I
imagine?
don't think I realized Bitcoin's been around that long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Early
That's-
2000s.
That's a blunder I had. I got told to buy it when it was like 0.01 cent for a Bitcoin. I was like, it's
Dude.
just funny money.
I had a friend who used to mine
Just
it.
put $100 in it. It'll be worth a lot.
Okay, so real quick, what does that even mean? Mine it?
We'll talk about this at another time.
Yeah.
But for now, there's a world full of idiots. There's 5 of them sitting around this table. As you guys have heard,
Shares of Bitcoin.
we hope you guys have learned something from this and that you're not alone if you've done something stupid and that there's no way that you will ever amount to the stupidity that we have talked about today.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe.
I mean, if you want some to aspire to, here you go.
if you have your own big oopsies, let's hear about them.
yeah.
I'm curious.
Share your oopsies down below in the
Did you
comments.
cost your company millions of dollars?
Did you lose all your Dogecoin?
Hey, you know what? When I was like 15, I threw away all my Beanie Babies, and I don't know what they're worth now.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing at
That
all.
was a blunder right there. People buying Beanie Babies.
Oh, people spent hundreds to thousands of
Oh,
dollars
yeah,
on
and
some
they're
of those
gonna be
Beanie
worth
Babies.
something someday.
No, they won't.
Anyway. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you're new here and we made you laugh, if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that subscribe. Follow us anywhere podcast is available. Thank you again for tuning in, and we love you and we thank you. We'll see you here next time.
Thanks for being part of this crowd.
Ciao.
Deuces.
Bye.